What's going on, everybody? It's Ben from Bogo Media here, and today I got my Australian Open men's singles predictions. This is a little bit late. I'd like to have gotten it out a couple days ago, especially because I totally forgot slash didn't realize that it actually starts this afternoon in the States, given the time difference. So I'm definitely doing this at the buzzer, but I wanted to make sure I got my predictions out. As you can see, I threw it together in Excel because I really couldn't find blank like brackets that you could fill out on the internet. It's crazy. So I had to just kind of construct something in here. I think it turned out okay. And you can see my kind of the results uh, there. So it's already spoiled, but I really just want to talk through it, give my thoughts on this tournament. I am so excited for the first major of the year, as tennis has really become my sport that I'm most interested in. Okay, so let's start with the first quarter up top here, and this is the Yannick Sinner quarter, and this is really why you could see I picked him to win it all is because I think his path is the easiest. I'll just point out a couple things here. So Sinner, I mean, the first real matchup I have him getting into is in the fourth round against Holger Rune. I think I think he might be getting back to maybe his level a few years ago, and so I do have him beating Berrettini in the second round. Now, if we go to Berrettini, that first round matchup, that is one of the best first round matchups right there versus Cameron Norrie. But I will go Berrettini to win that and then face Runa in the second round, which is another awesome matchup. And then I have Runa going through Hubert Hurkacz and then facing Sinner. So that's kind of that top area, but relatively getting back to Sinner, there's really not much for him until you get to the fourth round, and I don't think Runa's much of a challenge for him. So I think he has a very easy path to the quarterfinals. Now, who do I have him facing in the quarterfinals? I have him facing Deminar because he looked really good at the United Cup. I've been seeing videos of him training. His speed is off the charts. He's Australian. I just think this is shaping up for him to make a pretty good run. And quarterfinals is exactly that, but I just don't think he'll get past Sinner. Other little interesting things here. I picked Mickelson, who's an up and coming American player, to beat Tsitsipas in the first round. I think a lot of people would maybe pick this because they just hate Tsitsipas. I actually really like him. I'm a fan of his. But I just think this is a very dangerous matchup, and I'm going to go for the upset. I had to pick a couple upsets. Other than that, it really comes down to in this quarter the quarterfinal matchup between Deminar and Sinner, and I have Sinner advancing on that one. His level right now, at the end of the year, he was by far the best player in the world, and I'm a bigger Alcaraz. I like both; they're two of my favorite players, but I liked Alcaraz just a bit more, and it was just clear based on the results that Sinner was by far and away the best player in the latter half of the year. And even that came even with his ATP 500 final loss against Alcaraz. That match really demonstrated to me the fact that Alcaraz, at his very peak, has a level that literally nobody in the world can touch, Sinner included, currently. But Sinner's level is like A plus all the time, kind of in a way like Djokovic, where he's always on. And so I think it's going to allow him to win a bunch of tournaments because Alcaraz, especially at the end of the last year, I don't know what it was after the Olympics, he had a little bit more of a sporadic up and down nature in his game. Even though it was still high level most of the time, we saw him get upset a couple times. So I think I say all that to say, I mean, Sinner's been on an insanely high level and looks like he's continuing to improve. So I think he's going to get through to the semifinals. Okay, let's go to the next quarter. This one's pretty good. It has Fritz and Medvedev in it. Not the best though. I think Fritz. I think originally I picked Fritz to go to the semifinals. I have him getting upset by Musetti. Musetti's one guy that I'm extremely high on, and I think he's going to be very good. He went to I mean, he already is good, but I think he's going to continue to rise in the rankings. He went to the semifinals at Wimbledon last year. He got third place at the Olympics. I think he's pretty good on all surfaces. I don't know if hard court might not be his best surface. He might be a little bit better. I think grass is his best, and then clay might be his second best. I don't know. He's pretty good on all surfaces, and they've played numerous times, and I think Musetti holds a 4-3 head-to-head advantage. I just kind of have a gut feeling, and Fritz has looked amazing, and I'm definitely a supporter of his, especially because he's American, but I think I'm going to kind of go with a gut feeling Musetti upset here. Other kind of interesting matchups that would lead into that. This is a banger first round matchup, Monfils versus Mechie Pericard. That guy, I cannot stand watching him because his style is literally just amazing serves, but he can't rally. So it's not very entertaining, but he has looked very good as of late. He just beat Kyrgios. and he's been looking good. So I do have him advancing. I think he'll lose to Fritz. I have a Shelton Musetti matchup, which is exciting. And this is really the standout thing in this quarter of the bracket. Joao Fonseca, who won the Next Gen ATP Finals. I think like I'm probably getting way too over my skis right now, but what I saw, the bits and pieces that I saw of that, this guy looks like a next level type player, and he's obviously playing at an extremely high level. I'm only worried about the fact that he is so inexperienced uh, in a major. I think we've seen this with Alcaraz. One of his first times at the U.S. Open, he was on an insane level, but his body just started failing him because he wasn't used to playing the five setters. So I actually have him upsetting Rublev. I mean, I feel bad for Rublev because even if he wins, that's a very, very difficult first round matchup. I could see his level just frustrating Rublev to the point where gets thrown off his game. And then from there, I have him advancing to the fourth round. Now, you may be asking, okay, whoa, Medvedev gets upset too. I think Popyrin is extremely good. We saw that he won his first Masters 1000 title last year. I I think given that it's in Australia, that makes me think he could advance further with the home support. And he's due to continue to make steps. He upset Djokovic last year at the US Open, but then the next round he stumbled, I think, against Tiafoe maybe. So in this instance, I think he's going to continue to take a step forward. He's good on hard court, and I think he's going to upset Medvedev, maybe in a very intense five-set match. I don't know. And then I think he will knock off Fonseca, whose body will basically be breaking down. That's kind of my thought process on it. Now, this could go all wrong, and Rublev does what he's supposed to in the first round, but I really think what I saw out of Fonseca was like, whoa, this guy's going to be a top seven, eight player in the world soon. So, like in the next couple of years. So I have the quarterfinals here, Musetti and Popyrin, and I have Musetti advancing. So Musetti making another slam semifinal. This is the best quarter in my opinion. And obviously it has the biggest names in the same quarter, being Djokovic and Alcaraz. Djokovic has an interesting matchup, an up and comer in the first round. I do have him advancing through. Opelka, who looked very good in his most recent tournament and just beat Djokovic. Mahac, one of my favorite players here. I think he will advance to face Djokovic, and Djokovic will win this. I think Mahac will look very good. He has extremely high level tennis, and he can play at a very high level. His body starts breaking down, so I think this could go 4 or 5 sets, but I could see Djokovic's fitness, even though he's 37, 38, being able to outlast Mahac and advance to the fourth round. Yuri Lehechka, a very, very good up and coming player. I have him going extremely far. And then I have him facing Dimitrov, who's also been very good in the last number of months. But I think Lehechka will get the upset to face Djokovic in the fourth round. So Lehechka, up and comer, he's going to make a nice run in this tournament, in my opinion. Jack Draper, another guy I'm very high on in this, and just in general in tennis. I originally had him going very far, maybe to the fourth round facing Alcaraz. I have a weird feeling. Korda just made the finals at like Auckland, I believe, and he has been out, it seemed like the limelight for a while, at least the last few months, because he was making a nice run there. I'd say in the fall, early fall. I love this matchup, this potential matchup of Draper versus Korda. I'm gonna just go gut feeling. I feel like Draper is more highly regarded overall and deservedly so. I got a gut feeling Korda is gonna get through. And then the other big name down here is Alcaraz, and I do have Alcaraz. I think he's gonna make a beautiful run in this tournament. And that leads us to Alcaraz knocking off Korda and the quarterfinal matchup of Djokovic versus Alcaraz. Djokovic, he's won both of their hard court encounters. I just, and I know he wants the 25th slam and the 100th career title. I just, it's hard for me to see him doing it. And I don't want to bet, I don't want to predict it. So I think Alcaraz is gonna be really good in this tournament, and he's seeking the career Grand Slam at age 21, so he has motivation obviously. I think he just does in general because he's still up and coming, but he has strong motivation to win the Australian Open. So I do have him beating Djokovic. My two favorite, I'd say probably. And Sinner's there too, but that's a really good quarter because it has the two biggest names, Djokovic, Alcaraz, and then you also have names like Mahac, Lehechka, Dimitrov, Draper, Kokonakis will be very cool in Australia. Korda. You even got Jordan Thompson, who's been playing good tennis. So this is a loaded quarter. Then the final quarter, bottom of the bracket, Casper Ruud, the big name here, as well as Alexander Zverev. I really wanted to pick Zverev to go all the way. As you can see, I have him facing Alcaraz in the semifinals and losing. I think he might get his first slam this year, and it very well could be at the Australian Open. I really wanted to pick him, but it's hard for me to imagine him beating Alcaraz and Sinner back to back. And that's not because I don't think he's capable of beating them, but it's the back to back part of it that is making me just not, I just don't want to go for it. So this is an okay one. Mensik, very good up and coming player. I almost like want to pick him, but I think he's running into Casper Ruud, who I expect to make a very good run clearly to the quarters. I think it's just a little too early. So there's a loss, but I think Mensik is very, very good and a player I'm watching out for. Alger Aliassime just won against Sebastian Korda in the final. This part of the bracket's pretty weak. That's why I have Tommy Paul going to the fourth round, just because I mean he theoretically could be playing Tabilo in the third, and I don't think that's great. Uh, this is an interesting third round matchup that has the potential. Humbert versus Arthur Fils. I don't fully know how to say his name, but they had a very good matchup in Japan for the final. Both French, both very good up and coming players, particularly Fils. So watch out for that. I do have him winning and facing Zverev. Now, this is a cool matchup. This would be the best third round matchup, in my opinion. Nick Kyrgios, who's back recently, and he actually looked amazing in the Brisbane tournament. Even though he lost to Mechie Pericard, the fact that he went to three sets and played at a very high level in the singles, not only the singles, but also in the doubles with Djokovic, he looked really, really good. I think he's just getting back into it, recovering from the injuries. Part of me would be like, I wouldn't be mad if he beats Zverev, even though I like both of them a lot. I just I don't know. I mean, I think Zverev's just better than him, but also I'm kind of worried that his body might break down well with injuries. So this final quarter, it has Zverev. So the semifinals to kind of recap, Sinner Musetti. So like I said, Sinner's path in theory, especially with my upsets predicted, is a lot easier than Alcaraz, Djokovic, Zverev. Particularly because even if you take away my upsets, if you have Fritz advance and you have Medvedev advance, take either one of those guys, Sinner owns them, especially as of late. They can't get past him. So I think Sinner like is a lock in this tournament almost. And that's I mean, I know it's a lot of luck in these things, but I feel like Sinner, given his level and the fact that he's a defending champion, I almost think he's a lock. And that's why in the final, I pick Alcaraz, Sinner to beat Alcaraz. Like I went on that tangent earlier of saying that Alcaraz's highest level is higher than Sinner. I do absolutely believe that, but I'm kind of hedging my bets here just because Alcaraz's path is a lot more difficult and Sinner's isn't. I'm almost saying, okay, look, there's a good chance it's not Alcaraz in the final. And so I'm gonna just and Sinner's totally capable of beating Alcaraz anyways if they did meet up in the final. So I'm just gonna take that and say, okay, you know what? We're gonna call Sinner the champion. I think he'll get it done. I think he's gonna defend his title at the Australian Open and further solidify his number one position. So that's my bracket. Let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know who you have in the semifinals and finals and who you have winning. I am super pumped for the Australian Open, and I love that the first major of the year is so quick. So I'm looking forward to it. I really hope we can see like the very, very best at the very end. I like upsets and I like underdogs, but I want to see Sinner and Alcaraz matchup, Djokovic, Sinner, Zverev, Sinner. I want to see any of these guys in the finals. I want to see the big names there at the end. So let me know what you guys think and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.